Hi guys, welcome to the world of 28mm. In today's episode we're going to be taking another look at some roads. I'm currently building a farm board and I've got some dirt roads to put on it, so I figured I'd do a tutorial whilst doing this project at the same time and possibly an overview of the whole build. Okay, so we're going to need some coffee stirrers, some filler, some sandpaper and a sharp hobby knife. Okay, so let's go down to the table and let's have a butcher's. See you in a sec. Okay, right, time to get messy. Just a quick explanation before we crack on. Okay, as you can see, I've made a substructure here, and this is just to add volume to our path. Okay, so I have to excuse the sniffing. It's cold in the UK and it's getting to me. Initially, so what I've done is I've chosen a material that was thick enough so that we could take a 28mm vehicle, a true 28mm vehicle. Okay, so I've got just a little Jeep, and we've made sure that the height is still, it's not too big, so that the wheels still touch the floor and it can move up and down the path quite nicely without any hindrance. And obviously, because the tank will be wider, it will be the same for a tank. You won't get in the way of the banks. So make sure you have one of these to hand so you can get the depth of the middle bit right. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken just some plain old coffee stirrers. You can get them off eBay for cheap as chips, or if you're in your local coffee shop or a Mackie D's or something, then grab some. Okay, and all I've done is, to get the right thickness, is I've glued two together like that. I've chopped each of the ends off, as you can see here. Okay, and then I've just glued them down with some PVA. Okay, so that's our substructure. So how do we build up from here? Okay, so next up, to build on this substructure, we're going to use some plain old poly filler, my good old B&Q brand here. Okay, so get some of this. It's still good, and also have some water to hand as well. Okay, this will help you just smooth it out. And all we're going to do is the same as the urban road that we did. Just going to get a nice little glob of filler, and we're going to slap it on to the front here. Don't worry about being exact or it going everywhere. We just want to fill these gaps where the coffee stirrers meet. Take a bit of that off my finger there. Okay, and then once you've got that top bit nice and full, we're just going to fill in these edges. Okay, if you're having problems moving it about, or it's sticking to your finger or whatever, a little bit of water. Only a little bit, mind you, don't want to put too much, because this is going straight onto blue foam and it will warp if you get it too wet. So make your finger a little bit damp and then just come in and work that down into a nice smooth finish. Okay, any excess you've got left over, just spread onto the foam board. It'll all add to the stability. Plus, what we want to do after we've done this step is I'm going to get a little toy car and run it through so that we've got the tyre marks in there, and I'll get a tank on there as well. We'll do the same with that, so we get track marks from both. So yeah, this is the filler phase. Like I say, it's just really to bulk out this road, fill in all the little cracks, take some of that off and spread it around. Excuse me. Water in there. Fill in all the cracks and start creating that dirt road. This might take a few layers, and I'm just doing this section here so you guys can get a rough idea of what's going on. Okay, and I'll just do this final side, and then we'll build up the banks. Oh, good old winter time. Stick some on here as well. Some more on my finger. We'll cover up this part now. Okay, so you can start to see where this is going. And obviously don't worry about too much, you know, about how level it is and things like that, because it is going to be a dirt road. So okay, get a bit of water and just spread that on. You want to try and make these transitions nice and smooth, because you want that nice sort of bump effect in the middle that you get on these sort of country farm roads. So yeah, that's about it for this part. I've now got 1, 2, 3 2x2 boards to do this on. So I will cut it here, do the whole board, and then we'll come back and we'll do the next phase. Okay, so I'll see you in a sec, guys. Okay, so here we are. All the road sections have been done now. Next thing we need to do is just add a little bit of texture. So just like the other roads we've done, if you haven't seen those videos, go and check them out. Okay, we're just going to take I bought some cheap brushes from Poundland, and I went to take one out of the packet and that came off. So this is now my stippling brush. So okay, we're just going to stipple all of this to put some texture into it. Okay, and it's just a case of coming in with the brush and just lightly tapping into the surface. Okay, and this, like the urban road, will give you the ability to put some texture onto it, and it will make it look a bit more scraggly and dirt path like. If you're having problems with the filler taking the texture of the brush, so I put my water away for some reason, just dampen the end of your brush in the water, just slightly, not too much. Don't dunk your whole brush, just tip the end in and just carry on stippling, and that moisture will just make it a little bit more malleable so that you can get some texture in there for when you paint it up. Okay, so I've done this very basically, you know, with a lot of things in life. So there you go, I've just over watered my brush. With a lot of things in life, you get in as much as you get out as much as you put in. If I can get that phrase right. So you know, if you've got more time, give it some more effort. You know, start sculpting some lumps and bumps into the road and things like that. I'm just doing this as a quick and easy bolt action board. Okay, so you get the idea from that. So you want to do that on all your road sections. Just stipple it up, get something for the lighter colours to stick onto when we paint it up later. Okay, so I'm going to carry on and do these other two board sections, and we'll come back when they're all dry. Okay, so see you in a sec, guys. Okay, so here we are back at the dirt road. I've given, after we stippled it, I gave it a quick black undercoat, and then I used that same brown again that I use pretty much for every other project, any other video that's on my channel. If I put a dirt on it, I've used this brown. I love this brown. Anyway, I digress. So next up, we want to tone back down that plain brownness of it. Okay, so what I've done is I've made a brown wash here, just some water, bit of black acrylic paint, and a drop or two of washing up detergent. And just got a brush, and we're just going to brush it over and let it run into all the crevices. Now you could use any colour wash you wanted. If you didn't want that sort of dark, damp look that I'm after, then use something. You could use a sepia wash or something like that. Okay, so you can see hopefully how it's pulling out that detail. Okay, don't go too heavy because we don't want to make it like completely black. We just want to tone down this brown. Okay, so just do this little bit there. Okay, so I'm going to go over the whole dirt road now with this black wash, and then we'll come back, we'll put a little bit of highlight on it and some finishing touches, and we're done. Okay, so see you in a sec. So that's the black wash on and dry. So our next step is just to bring out all that stippling we did earlier, to bring that out with a bit more of, I'm using the same coloured like brown that I used in the first place, and I am going to get a piece of paper, tissue, put a bit on my brush, and we're just going to dry brush over the top of it. And like I say, it just popped those stipples that we made earlier back out. Okay, so I'm going to lightly go over it. And just pop these edges. Because although I want that sort of damp dark look to it, I also don't want it to be a flat monotoned colour. So if we just add this little bit of brown on top, dry brushing, it breaks up that monotone. Okay, so I'm just going to do this little section here, and hopefully, yeah, you can start seeing it make it pop out a little bit. I'll just do this little end section here so you guys can see it, and then I'll pause it and I'll carry on with the rest of them. Be advised, it probably will take more than one dry brush to get this done. But just keep going and you'll get the effect you want eventually. Okay, so we can see it's starting to bring it sort of back to life a bit, that monotone black. So I'm going to do the rest of the boards, and then we'll come back and we're going to put some static grass and make it look a bit wet. Okay, so I'll see you in a minute. So 3 dry brushes later, and I'm quite happy with that. I don't want to up the highlight again by making it brighter because I want that dark, dank sort of look. Okay, as for the edges, sort of these, so that's your road, forget about that. Okay, this is all going to be covered up by like the fencing and stuff of the board. So what we're going to do now is I've got some just some gloss varnish here, and we're going to go through and we're just with our thumb going to push some indents into the plaster there. I know you probably can't see that, but what we're going to do with these, put another one there, there we are. What we're going to do with these is put a little bit of gloss varnish around them and in them just to make them look wet. And let's put another one there. Okay, right, so I've got 5 divots there. So first of all, we want to, or well, I should have opened this before I started running the camera. Would have been a clever idea. Let's get this gloss varnish out. Come on, there we go. Almost went everywhere. An old brush will do. Okay, so we're just going to go through on these little like indents we've made. We're just going to put a bit of gloss on them around the edges and just feather it out from there, because what we're going to do after this, when this is dry, is we're going to take some Vallejo water effect and we're going to put some in, because this adds the shine but it doesn't quite add the depth. So paint all the outside of your little puddles first, hoping you can see this on the camera. It's what I could do with a bit of light just to make it shine for a change. But yeah, so there, I've got all 5 of my little holes, divots, whatever you want to call them, in the ground, ready for the Vallejo water effect to go in. Just gonna spread that one out a bit. I've got a bit much in the other one. Okay, so there. When I create the puddles, I'll bring the camera a bit closer in so that you can see it. Okay, so we've created our potholes, put a bit of gloss varnish in just to make it all shiny. I'll let that dry and then we'll come back and we'll add the Vallejo water effect. Okay, so the gloss is all dried. I've changed the camera angle so you can see the shininess of it in these little puddles here. Also, what I've done is I've just made some little off streaks coming off of it so that it looks like there's been motion up and down the path. Okay, and just to finish it off, I've got some grass tufts here which we're just going to place a few of these on to give it a bit of life and just a tad bit more colour. And we'll put some down the side. One there. Put one, let's see, there. Okay, so we've got some little grass tufts on there just to bring a little bit of life to it, and now we're just going to take some Vallejo, get that in the camera, still water. Got my brush I used from my gloss varnish, and we're just going to put some of this on. Now when you're using this Vallejo, if this is what you're using, don't put it too thick or it will crack. I don't really like using this stuff, but I don't want to use the my other stuff. So in this case we're just going to put a little blob in and help it find its centre. Now you remember me saying that the gloss varnish, you know, that adds the shine but it doesn't add the depth. Well, this is what adds the depth. There. Just put a little drop in each. Oh, just got a bit in the middle of the road there. And then once we've got a drop in each, we will spread it out thin so it doesn't crack. There we go. Now we're just gonna spread it out slightly. Also remember to get any air bubbles that might be stuck in there. We don't want them trapped in there. Okay, so we've got our Vallejo water effect on, and that is effectively our driveway done. So I'm going to stick some photos up so you can get a proper look at it, and then we'll go for the outro. So I'll see you guys in a sec. And so there's our dirt roads. Okay, I'm quite happy with the result. If you'd like to leave any questions or you have any comments, then leave them below. This has all been part of the farm board build, so I will put a link up for that in this corner. Yep, that one. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it. So like it if you like it, share if you think someone else would like to see it, and don't forget to subscribe for the next episode. Have fun, guys.